What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Come On Have Console. My name is Jason. Today we're talking about a CEX mega haul. I went to 3 different CEX shops. I went to my local, my other local, and one further afield into London, the Stratford CEX. Now, I had about £120 on a voucher, so I went completely ham. Thankfully, these shops had a bunch of games that I wanted to add to my collection. The majority of these games are going to be Xbox 360 because I actually love collecting for this machine at the moment. One of my favourite consoles of all time. So without further ado, let's get to the mega haul. A couple more modern games to start off with. I picked up Dead Rising 4 for Xbox One. Now, I recently picked up Dead Rising 3 as well, so I wanted to add 4 to the collection as well, to have that bit of a completion there, which I'm really happy about. So, Dead Rising 4, not been the biggest fan of the Dead Rising games, but I feel like I've heard this one's really fun, if I can get past the general jankiness of it. But yeah, looking forward to giving this one a go. I don't hate the Dead Rising series, I don't think they're quite for me. I quite liked the first one back in the day. Number 2 I actually liked a bit more, actually, if I remember correctly. Number 3 was alright. Hopefully this one's a bit better, but yeah, we'll see. Open world zombie games are a dime a dozen these days, but Dead Rising was one of the first series to really do that really kind of like high number on screen kind of zombie games. So let's see what number 4 gives us, shall we? That's Dead Rising 4. So the next game is another modern game. Big shout out to Donald Mackerel over at Donald Mackerel Gaming for this recommendation. He knows that I love Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a massive Sonic the Hedgehog fan. And he recommended this game saying, if you love the simplicity of Sonic and you want that kind of child-friendly, kind of just platformer goodness, this game is great fun. The game is called Balan Wonderworld. Yeah, I'm so glad this game got absolutely trashed in the reviews because I picked this game up on PS5 for £5. This is the thing, a game gets bad critical reception and I find that critics can go a bit too hard on some games. But it makes those particular games go down in value immensely, and you can pick this game up for a £5 in CEX on PS5. I wasn't going to say no to that. I'm going to make up my own opinion. Obviously, I'm swayed by the recommendation by Donald, but he did say that some people from Sonic Team broke away, made their own studio, and made this game. So it's got that Sonic Team DNA in there. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. I'm up for these cutesy kind of, you know, platformers that harken back to, like, you know, early PlayStation and N64. So I'm all for this. If it's anything like, if it's got any of the charm of Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm on board with it. So, Donald, thank you for this recommendation. I actually couldn't believe how cheap I got this for a £5, but that is Balan Wonderworld. A cup of tea for the working man.
Get on with it, you knob!
Then we get to the 360 titles, and I'm chuffed about every single one of these in the collection. They're going to be very, very, very cozy in the 360 collection, and I'm looking forward to playing every one of these because I've been looking for some of these for ages. The first game we have got is a Sega published title, and it is Full Auto. I've had a few of you guys, especially in my hidden gem videos and underrated videos I've done in the past for 360, loads of people in the comments recommended this game. And I really like vehicle combat racing titles, Twisted Metal, Extreme G, Wipeout, you know, Carmageddon, you get the gist, right? So I was all about checking this game out eventually, and it actually came about where it was cheap enough and it was complete with manual, really nice case, and yeah, I had to pick it up, of course. So yeah, Full Auto, all I know about this is what it tells me on the back and what people have told me. It's a really, apparently really underrated vehicle combat racing title, published by Sega. Yeah, I'm on board. On the back it says, horsepower meets firepower, master an array of armoured laden vehicles, the most destructive racing game ever, maybe from the time, rectify fatal errors and missed opportunities with the unique unwreck feature. I'm assuming that's similar to like the rewind feature you get in maybe the Forza games, I suppose. And you've got 8-player multiplayer through Xbox Live, which obviously we can't play now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It could be good. I'm a sucker for these combat racing titles. They're really fun. Like the recent Carmageddon remake that came out a little while ago on PS4. I played tons of that game, loved it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. That's Full Auto. The next game is a game that I bought solely for a case swap because it was £1. But I thought to myself, I actually fancy playing this one. So it was Homefront. This game I remember being pretty decent back in the day. Not quite on the level of Call of Duty per se, but it was a kind of scary kind of what if scenario that North Korea kind of invaded America. I remember it being pretty decent for the time. Pretty basic in terms of like, you've played Call of Duty, you've probably played something similar to this anyway. I remember it being pretty cool. Remember the multiplayer being pretty decent. Obviously you can't play multiplayer now, it's just a shame. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this another go, giving this a replay. For £1 you can't go wrong with games like this. These are like those kind of filler titles that usually surprise me. You know, usually you get them, they've probably sold quite a few. They've probably got pretty middling reviews, but because they're so cheap and you've kind of already got like an expectation that they're going to be bad, sometimes these games can surprise you. I remember not hating it back in the day, but not being wowed by it either. So this might be a little kind of a game to maybe it's worth going back to. And I will say the sequel for this game, Homefront: The Revolution, is actually a genuine hidden gem on the PS4. Love that game. That game got absolutely torn apart, but I feel like the sequel to this game is way better than this game, and I actually really enjoyed it for what it was. But this first game was okay for the time, and I'm looking forward to giving it a second shot. That's Homefront. Next up is a game that I used to have on PS3, but I'm slowly kind of like losing interest in PS3, and most of the games I used to have for PS3, I kind of want to transition them over to the 360 versions. This game is no exception. It is Saw, the video game. I know I've got to get a new case for this. It's a bit rubbish, but this is surprisingly decent movie game tie-in. Surprisingly good. If you like survival horror and you like puzzle solving in those survival horrors, this is a puzzle solving survival horror, I guess hidden gem, I suppose you could say. Really decent. I like it a lot. I highly recommend it. I am a low-key Saw fan. I do like the Saw films quite a lot, especially the first maybe 4 films, especially 1, 2 and 4 being my favourites. 2 is my all-time favourite in the Saw franchise. I love Saw 2, what a film that is. Absolutely love that one. But yeah, I do love this series to a point, and yeah, I had to get the game for 360 because it's a really good survival horror game. It invokes the film so well. It's so well. It just sums up the films really well. Like the art direction's perfect. The sound design's perfect. The grit and the grime of the area that you're in is just palpable with atmosphere. Love this game. Love it. It's really good. It has no right to be this good. And then you go to the sequel, and that has no right to be as bad as it is. But yeah, Saw the video game is great fun. I really like it a lot. I Saw the video game. This next game, I picked it up because I totally forgot this came out on 360, and Donald Macro Gaming strikes again, where he was showing off a game called Blades of Time, which is a sequel to this game, and he mentioned this game, and I was like, I've played that, I used to have that, and I think I used to like it as well. I'm talking about a game called X-Blades. This is published by South Peak Games. Now, South Peak Games are the publishing company behind Two Worlds and Two Worlds 2. So they've got a pedigree of publishing some utter dreck, right? But I love Two Worlds. I love Two Worlds 2. So I remember liking this one. So I don't know what to say about it. I'm assuming, from what I remember, it's a Devil May Cry-esque character action title with like hack and slash combat and combos and stuff. But I generally thought this game was more money these days. But for 15 quid in CEX, I wasn't going to leave it alone. It's complete with manual. And yeah, definitely one for the collection. That's X-Blades. The next game in this mega haul of 360 titles, I did a poll a little while ago Four titles in the poll. Best bad FPS game on 360, right? And I had a bunch of them. And this game got a lot of love for how bad it was. And it is. Duke Nukem Forever. It made me realise that I don't own this in the collection, so I had to rectify that. Terrible game. Really, really dreary and boring in essence. But I still kind of like it because it's still got the Duke Nukemisms that I love from the earlier Duke Nukem games. The biggest flaw for this game is that it pokes fun at things like battle armour and 2 weapon loadouts, regenerating health. But it doesn't poke the joke and then do the opposite. It just continues to do what it's making fun of, which doesn't really make sense in the essence of the joke, right? Because that you just look like an idiot at that point. So I think that's his big flaw. It should have had the thing where it was like you can carry all the weapons at once. You got to get health packs to heal yourself and all that kind of jazz. Because if it was doing the old school way of FPS, while poking fun at modern stuff like regenerating health and 2 weapon loadouts, I think it would be more on brand with the series. Overall, this is an underwhelming shooter in my opinion, but I still have fun with it regardless because it's Duke Nukem. I don't know what it is. Something about the Duke Nukemisms that I like about this game. But yeah, I had to have it in the collection. It was like £2, so why not have it in the collection? That's Duke Nukem Forever. This next game I'm super happy to find in very, very nice condition. I picked this one up in Stratford CEX. I love this series to pieces. I wish it would come back. It's From Software, just do it, guys, mate. You know, if you want to make a Ninja Souls-like, just do it. Obviously, I'm talking about Tenchu. This is Tenchu Z. This is a, from what I understand, a remake of the first game. So you're doing pretty much the same missions of the first game. You know, you're Rikimaru. You're playing as and a Yana. You get to pick between 2 of the ninjas. Yeah, I love this series. I don't think I've played this one. If I have, I don't remember it. I remember the first game on PS1 and Tenchu 2 being amazing. I remember that being an awesome game. I remember the third game on PS2 and Xbox as well. Don't remember this game that much. I know there's other games as well, like Fatal Shadows and stuff like that. There's other titles that I kind of want to get actually for the collection. But I knew this game was creeping up in price because I remember this used to be quite a cheap game. Now it's about a £10 to £15 game. So I had to pick it up when I saw it in such clean condition. The case is absolutely beautiful condition as well. So I had to get it in this condition. That's Tenchu Z. Awesome stealth ninja title from Software. The series is awesome. So I have no doubt this game is going to be also awesome as well. That's Tenchu Z. The next game is a Obsidian secret agent RPG that I didn't have in the collection, and I was like, why don't I have this game? I love this game. It's awesome, right? This game is awesome. It's jank as all hell. Alpha Protocol, developed by Obsidian Games, published by Sega. I love this game. Secret agent RPG. It's so good. The story is so cool. The decisions are so cool that you can make. But holy shit, is it jank as balls. I affectionately call this game Jank's Bond because it is James Bond but jank as fuck. I love this game. It's super good. I love the story, the choices you get to make, the missions, even just the general customization is really cool. How you can level up your character. The combat is probably the least interesting part of this game, right? Because it's the part where you get to see the jankiness. But I feel like everything around the RPG mechanics around the combat is what makes this game fun to me. I absolutely love this game. That's Alpha Protocol. Next game is a game I've been... Once again, some of these games are really hard to find in good condition. I've been after this game in good nick for a long time, with manual. It's not been happening. I've either found it with reprinted covers, with damaged covers, with no manual, with the discs being rotten, as you do with CEX sometimes, right? But the game is Blue Dragon. I had to get this game because I think I've played it back in the day, but I don't remember it. But the big thing I wanted to pick this up is because I'm slowly building up a JRPG collection where I can start getting back into those games when I've got the time to play them. And this is a one of the more kind of fondly remembered ones from people on 360 when it concerns JRPGs. The other reason why I wanted to pick this up is because the art direction and the art style is in that awesome Dragon Ball-esque art style of Akira Toriyama, and he was the guy behind the art in this game. And since we lost him last year, he passed away sadly last year, I knew this game had to be on my radar just as to see more of his work, essentially, to see more of his work in other mediums aside from manga and anime. Yeah, so that's another reason why I had to get this game. I've heard it's really, really good. I think I've played it, but I just don't remember. It's one of those chunky games when it came out. It came out on 3 discs, so it's a monster of a game. I don't know how big that really makes it back then or not. I don't know, but I remember when PS1 games used to come on like 4 discs, you knew you was in for a massive adventure. So hopefully this game is a really dense, big adventure full of great characters and great stories. That's Blue Dragon. Looking forward to giving this a go. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. This next game I remember having back in the day when I first got a 360, really like I'm talking about like 2009, something like that. I remember this game being kind of clunky, a bit weird, but I love horror stuff, and the name Clive Barker is big. He brought us Candyman and Hellraiser. So when he's put his name to a game, I'm already intrigued. And I remember this game being not the best thing in the world, but I wanted to give it a second go. And for £3 in CEX, in absolutely great condition, I'm going to pick it up. That is Clive Barker's Jericho. I remember this game being it's pretty much Hellraiser art style, but it's an FPS game. So yeah, the cool thing about this game is that the main character you play as at the beginning, he dies, and then you become like kind of a ghost spectral kind of figure, and you can inhabit each character of your squad, and that's how you kind of progress through the game. You've got to make sure you're using the character that can do each character has their own abilities, so you're constantly hopping between characters in fights and in puzzle solving and stuff like that. So I remember this game being quite clunky, like I said earlier, but I think as an adult, as more of a hopefully wiser person, I might actually like this a bit more. But yeah, for £3 I thought I'm not going to let this slip by me. It's definitely a game I've got some kind of nostalgia for, memories for, so it had to be in the collection. I love horror games, like I said. I love horror films. I'm a massive horror buff, so Clive Barker is got some weight to it, his name as well, so this might be a good one. That's Clive Barker's Jericho. The final game in this Xbox CEX Mega Haul is a game that I've been wanting for a while. I generally didn't think it was going to be this cheap. I thought it went up way up in price since the Xbox services went down, 360 services. But I was really happy to pick this up for £12 in CEX. I love the anime for this game. Like it's based on an anime, and I love it to pieces. Afro Samurai. I remember this game being really fun. I don't really remember it super well, but I just remember it being really violent and really fun to play. I remember the sequel even more, having the worst of luck, being absolutely broken on release, and then eventually just pulling it from sale and refunding everybody. So you can't even get the sequel anymore. But I knew I had to get this one because I love the anime, and it's one of those games that I just remember being really fun. I love the character action titles like Devil May Cry, like Onimusha, Bayonetta, those kind of games. For them to put out an Afro Samurai game in the vein of those style of games, yeah, so I had to get this one. It's brutal. You can dismember enemies, just absolutely just go around just cutting people up. I remember it being really fun. Definitely one was on my list. I had to pick it up for £12 in great condition with the manual. It was a no-brainer. That's Afro Samurai. So that's it, guys. Those are my pickups from CEX, Stratford, and my 2 local stores. Really happy about what I've picked up here. Some great titles that I love, titles that I'm looking forward to getting back into, and also a cheeky little recommendation from Don Mackle Gaming. I love Sonic the Hedgehog, so he says if I love those old school, simple kind of platformers, Balan Wonderland is definitely one to check out. For a £5, I just give it a shot regardless, right? So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. As always, guys, let me know any of your thoughts in the comments about any of these games. And as always, let's continue to build a games collection.